Okay, I want to continue the game between Robert Byrne and Bobby Fischer, played in 1960 from the U.S. Championship 1963-64. And I was just analyzing one of the lines. Or let me back up. I'm sorry if I confused anybody, but this is sort of a long analysis on this move. So I just analyzed that I had just been talking about the fact that Byrne played this move, rook on f to d1, when he should have played um, the rook to here to d1 and showed you the lines that would happen. So now let's continue the game where he actually plays rook on f to d1. And like I mentioned before, the fear, or not the fear, but the problem, or what's going to happen now is that this knight here on e5 is going to come to d3, which it does. That's what Bobby Fischer plays. Then I think I mentioned earlier that if you would have moved the other rook here, he would have just played queen to c2, and that's what Byrne does. But this is the reason why Byrne should have moved the other rook, is because of this sacrifice that now Bobby Fischer plays, and this is why I didn't mention it before. Knight takes f2. So, wow, sort of a stunner. So the game continues. So this is a sacrifice, but as you can tell, the king takes the knight. This knight here is coming here, or here, where it's going to deliver a nice check. And then you can see possibly the queen coming to here. I mean, you see just nasty business coming. So king takes f2, knight to g4. So what is now black starting to capture this pawn, and it is supported by the rook here. Now where's the moving? If you don't know, moving the king to f3 in this position would not be advisable, because king to f3, rook takes, then probably well, king takes g4, h5 check, and then it leads the mate either way you go. So king goes to h3 or to f4, go to f4, just checkmate like that. So not a good idea to go to f3. If the king comes to f1, obviously, then it's a nice, I think they call it the family fork. If the king comes to e1, then after the knight takes here, attacking the queen, it's also forking the bishop. The queen moves, and then black gets the bishop over here. So the move is king to g1. That way the king's protecting the bishop. Now the knight takes on e3, attacking the queen. Queen goes to d2. Attacking the knight. Also keeping the defense on this knight here, because it's, you know, this knight on e2 is indirectly attacked by this rook and this bishop. But then Fischer plays another stunning move. A knight takes, well, maybe I should back up. Probably most people, probably including myself, probably very tempted to play knight takes d1. But after knight takes d1, rook takes d1, white's basically back in the game, or has counterplay. So what Fischer is doing is he's getting rid of the bishop, which is the main defender to the light squares. So after knight takes g2, king takes g2. And now Fischer sees that he wants to attack the king on the light squares. So he's actually going to play d4 with the idea of moving the bishop back here to b7. We're going to attack along the light squares. And now with that bishop gone, you can see how vulnerable the king is. So white will play knight takes d4, bishop to b7 check. And then where's the king to go? Well, if the king goes to either f1 or f2, it's sort of the same conclusion. The king will come to f1, but what happens if the king goes to g1? I seem to always show you the variations that happen that are not played. Then what happens if the king goes at g1, then black plays bishop takes d4 check, the queen takes. If it doesn't take, it loses a piece. Now the rook comes to e1 check. Obviously you can't recapture the rook, or the queen gets captured with check. This knight's also in take. So king to f2, queen takes d4, queen takes d4, rook takes a1, and that's a winning game for black. So instead the king comes to f1. Whoops. King comes to f1, sorry, b7. I clicked on the wrong thing there, sorry for that. King to f1. And then queen d7. And actually Byrne resigned at this point. And the two moves that are usually given for continuation by white are playing the knight here and playing the queen to here. Neither seem to matter very much. So so let's just play the knight on d to b5. That way it is protected. It's protecting this bishop and preventing this bishop from coming to here, but we'll see that won't matter. Because now just remember that Byrne has resigned at this point. This is just showing you what would have happened. Queen h3, check. King to g1, and now bishop to h6, attacking the queen, but now threatening to come to e3, devastating. So that is the game between Byrne and Fischer.